השם יאיר עינינו ללמוד תורתו, תורת משה רבנו.
רבותיי, this song is about Chacham Ovadia, the real president. רבותיי, this is Rabotai, today is actually the day when they're electing Baruch Hashem Donald Trump as president. Our president, Rabotai, is Chacham Ovadia, the Gedolim, but all they did was give their life for Torah, saved every second, every moment they can to go ahead and learn Torah. I saw a short clip of Chacham Ovadia, his son, asking him, Abba, why don't you look good? He says, because he couldn't sleep all night. He said, why couldn't you sleep all night? The son was worried, maybe he has a sickness or chas v'shalom, something lo'leinu. He says, no. He says, I was bothered to question something from the Torah, and I couldn't, all night it was consuming my mind. Because of that, I wasn't able to go to sleep. That's what concerned them. These are real Nasis Rabotai, these are real presidents. Anyway, welcome back to Amot Shel Halacha Siman. Ba'olamo ela arba Amot Shel Halacha bilvad. Be'ezrat Hashem, today we're going to conclude the whole Siman for Siman Reish Tzadik Tet. It is a very big accomplishment, and after we do conclude it, in my humble opinion, I want to go back and do Chazara, not through the Mishnah Berurah and the Shulchan Aruch over here. What we're going to do is, after we did the Iyun, after we did in depth, we're going to go ahead and we're going to try to go over the halachot through the Sefer of Rav David Yosef Shlita. In the Sefer Halacha Berurah, he has everything outlined very nicely, just to get the halachot down, just to do Chazara. You have to understand, to learn Torah without doing Chazara, you know, some will tell you, learn Torah, don't worry, continue learning, just learn. Chazal don't tell us that. It's just the opposite. If you're learning Torah without reviewing Torah, there's no point of learning Torah. Nobody's asking you to accumulate Torah knowledge without reviewing your Torah knowledge. If you're going to accumulate and review, that's good. But if all you're going to do is accumulate without learning Torah, the Gemara brings down a few examples. A woman who carries a baby 9 months, but then she miscarries a child. Why does she carry it? A person who plants and plows, heartbreaking labor, and waters until everything starts to sprout. Eventually, when he has to harvest, he says he doesn't want to harvest. What was the point of planting? It's better you wouldn't do anything. Same thing we're going to tell you with Torah. When it comes to Torah, I can easily continue doing other simanim and moving forward, because we actually did every single halacha in depth. With Chacham Ovadia, Rav David Yosef, Rav Yitzchak Yosef, Kaf Chaim, Ben Ishchai, Rav Ben Shabashul. We went through every single halacha in depth. I'm not telling you not. However, we do also have to understand, we have to now go back and do Chazara. After we finish the Chazara, after we have it good, we'll move on to the next Siman. And you'll be surprised how many things you thought you got, or maybe you did get, but you forgot. And it's only going to be halachot, one after another, no in depth, no back and forth. Halachot as a review, and you'll see it's actually good for everyone. Listen, you don't want to listen, you don't have to listen. I'm not asking you to go ahead and review your learning again. I'm telling you what Chazal tell us to do. There's a very big chiyuv on reviewing your learned Torah. That's Chazal say you have to come to the next world, Talmud biyado, with your learning in your hands. You have to know what you learn. If you don't know what you learn, I was speaking to somebody. Again, Rabotai, understand this. When it comes to the bare minimum, the way you want to explain that if you get reward or not, Bare minimum, you get minimum wage. I'm not telling you not. You'll get reward. Yes, it's better than nothing. I'm not speaking about better than nothing. Yes, nobody's telling you like that, you know. Somebody asked me, Rabbi, what's worse? Sleeping with a married woman or sleeping with a non-Jewish woman? What's worse? So I told him back. I said, what's worse? Shooting you in the heart or stabbing you in the heart? What's worse? I mean, in both ways, you're going to die, but which one is faster? Which one is more painful? Which one is... What do you mean, what's worse? They're both bad. But Rabotai, today, which one of the better should I do, Rabbi? Should I do like this? But it's better than nothing. Yeah, Rabotai, this is good, when you're speaking with Kiruv people. It's better than Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. Or better yet, when you're dealing with little children. Oh, thank God, you said a bracha, you woke up in the morning, you said Modani, you davened. But Rabotai, we're adults already, no? In any event, I was speaking to this guy, and he told me, he's running through Shas, Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. I said, tell me, you can repeat something that you learned one time, just any page. The page that you're on doing now. He looks at me like this. He smiles at me. I said, why are you laughing? So I said, so what's the rush? So what do you want? If you want to finish Masechet, what do you want to do? He said, you know what Rashi says in Masechet Berachot? A person that's not able to the person not able to say over his learning after some time, let's say after 1 week, after 2 weeks. If you're not able to say over what your rabbi taught you or whatever you learned, Rashi says you don't get any reward at all for learning Torah. Yeah, you get reward for coming to shul, you get reward for sitting in shul, you get reward for trying, but the main reward you don't get. So I said, listen, you're not a week away. I'm not asking you something that you learned last week or 2 weeks ago. What are you learning now? He looks at me. It's just my neshama understands. That's what they tell me. My soul understands. Rabotai, you guys get the point. It's nothing about your soul understanding or not. You have to know your material. Tomorrow these questions are going to come up. You have to go. I can do two things. I can either go back through every single Mishnah Berurah, the Chamavadis and everything back and forth, which is going to make it only longer again. Or we can use Rav David Yosef Sefer. And you'll see, once I do Rav David Yosef Sefer, you'll see the beauty of doing Chazarot. Always go back, review Rabotai. Nothing's going to happen. In any event, let's start today. In Siman Reish Tzadik Tet, we are in Halacha Yud. This will be part 4 and the final part for this Siman and the Halacha. We had concluded last week in part 3 of the Shi'ur. We got into the Sha'ar Tzion. I was going to speak about something very important regarding that is not so simple, this that we have today, when we say Baruch HaMavdil Ben Kodesh L'Chol, or when you daven Atach Onatanu without doing the Havdalah on a cup of wine, it is not so simple to go ahead and do Malacha. Because like we explained in the previous part, that the best way to go about, that's first to say Atach Onatanu in Shemona Esrei. After you had said Atach Onatanu in Shemona Esrei, now you go and you do the Havdalah on a cup of wine. And then you could do Malacha. Even though halachically we saw that either or is going to be good, whether you said Atach Onatanu or whether you said Baruch HaMavdil Ben Kodesh L'Chol, either one of them is going to help you. However, I want to show you today that it's not so pashut. That's number one. And number two, we were dealing in the Mishnah Berurah. Now I'm going to probably have to do the Mishnah Berurah because it was, I don't know how many of you guys are recalling what we learned, but we'll do the Mishnah Berurah Sikhat Lametet one more time. And I just want to show you that if you recall, we had over Yeshomrim that they said that you don't really have to say Baruch HaMavdil Ben Kodesh L'Chol when it came to lighting the candle alone, or when it came to carrying from one domain to another domain. And we said, I don't get it. How do you want to be more lenient than the Shulchan Aruch? So Rabotai, let's do that one more time. Let's get back into it. I had to stop the shiur in the middle because I had to run that time. Sivkat Lametet one more time. This we explained, Rabotai. I'm not going to go back to explain it. I'm Magen Aram. He says, look into the Magen Aram. Shemepakpek meod al minhag zeh. The Magen Aram doubted, he questioned this custom very much to go ahead and light the candles after saying Baruch Hu. If you Rabotai are not getting what this is going on, please listen to part 3 of the Shi'ur. Okay. I'm again around al minhag. Look into the Magen Avraham that he questioned very much this custom of lighting the candle after the Kal answers Baruch Hu Hashem Mevorach on Arvit after Shabbat. V'chein beBeit Yosef, and so too it's brought down to Beit Yosef. The manay line chalek ben malacha malacha. How do we know to make a difference between one malacha and another malacha? How do you know that writing is worse than lighting a fire, or sewing is worse than carrying? Who tells you? They're all identical. Just because one has an exertion, the other one doesn't have an exertion, doesn't mean you're allowed to go ahead and do the malacha without saying Baruch HaMavdil ben Kodesh l'chol. V'gam Rabbeinu Yerucham, and also Rabbeinu Yerucham, because you remember that the Rama brought the opinion of the Rabbeinu Yerucham on this piece. Also, it's possible that Rabbeinu Yerucham, it's possible to say that he was only lenient when that's after you did Havdalah in the Shemona Esrei. But not like the Yeshomri want to say, that you could be lenient without having to done anything. No Atacho no Tanu, and no Baruch HaMavdil B'Kosh V'chol, and there I'm allowed to go ahead and light the fire. No. Ve'al ken masik, therefore the Magen Avraham concluded, D'yesh ledrosh berabim, therefore you should teach in public, she'lamdu benotachem, you should teach your daughters, lomar HaMavdil ben Kodesh L'chol. So you should teach your daughters to say, Baruch HaMavdil ben Kodesh L'chol, kodem she'asu shum malacha, before they're going to do any form of work. 1 second, guys. Okay. ומכל שכן, for sure, אותן שמברות עצים ואש ומחממות מים, and for sure those people that go out and they start up wood fire and they heat up water, which is real malacha, דהווה מלאכה שיש בו טורח ולכול עם אסור, that's a malacha where there's exertion, everybody's going to tell you it's asur, וכן כתבו שערי אחרונים, and so too the other אחרונים also wrote the same way like the Magen Avraham, that one should say Baruch HaMavdil ben Kodesh L'chol before he begins any malacha. Just 1 second, guys. Okay. If we look into the Shar Tzion in Nun Aleph, where he says the Ashar Churim are the Tosefet Shabbat v'Chaya Adam, comes the Shar Tzion, now he's going to tell like this: V'derech HaChaim machmir od yoter b'zeh. The Derech HaChaim, he was stringent more than this. Not only by saying Baruch HaMavdil, the Avla Acher shehivdil b'tefilah. Even after you went and you did Havdalah in the Shemona Esrei by saying Atah chonotanu, en mutar rak lahadlik haner v'chadumeh. You are only allowed to go ahead and light the candle and anything similar to that. Lo malacha sheyesh bator, but not a malacha where there is an exertion to it. Rabotai, listen to this very carefully. The Derech HaChaim wants to tell you that after you went ahead and you did already Havdalah in the Shemona Esrei, now you could go and you can light a candle or maybe carry something from a private to a public domain where there's no exertion involved. But to do real malacha, to cook, to boil water, to do something that requires exertion, that is not going to allow you to do. Even though the Taz, he wanted to be lenient and side with the Yesh Omrim, that tell you, no, that even if you don't say Atah chonotanu Shemona Esrei, because you still didn't daven, and even if you didn't say Baruch HaMavdil ben Kodesh L'chol, and now you have to do Havdalah for your wife because she has to go to work, and you have to go to shul daven late Arvit, whatever the situation is, no problem. The Taz tells you, before you say Havdalah, light the candles. You don't have to say nothing. Light the candle. That's what the Taz says. But comes the Shar Tzion and he says no. L'dina halachically and l'smoch al zeh, do not rely on this opinion. D'dai lanu, because it's enough for us. B'ma she'kel ha-Shulchan Aruch, and this that the Shulchan Aruch was already lenient. 1 minute. You can play this now. D'dai lanu b'ma she'kel ha-Shulchan Aruch. It's enough to us in this what the Shulchan Aruch was lenient. L'lech acher ha-minhag la'akel b'malacha, to go after the custom, to be lenient when it comes to malacha. Acher she'ivdil b'tefilah, after a person went ahead and he did Havdalah in the Shemona Esrei, or be'amirat ha-mavdil l'chud, or by saying Baruch ha-mavdil ben kodesh lechol alone, that itself, Rabotai, is enough for us to be lenient. In this, that he's lenient. Why? Because many Rishonim are even stringent in that. Just because you said either Atachol Tanu or Baruch HaMavdil Bekodesh L'chol without doing the Havdalah on the kosher yain, there are other Rishonim that are going to tell you it's asur to do any form of malacha. This that the Shulchan Aruch says that you're allowed to do malacha either after you said Atachol Tanu and Shemna Esrei or Baruch HaMavdil Bekodesh L'chol before davening Shemna Esrei, all this is a leniency. He's going after the minhag. Because really you have to say Shemona Esrei with Atachol Tanu and then do the Havdalah ala kos. That is the proper way. That's according to all opinions. Halachically, Rabotai, again, we saw the whole time, Baruch HaMavdil will do it, or Atachol Tanu, Shemona Esrei will do the, you're allowed to do any form of malacha. But you see what the Shartim is using? He's using like this. The Dai Lanu, it's enough for us. B'mashir Kela Shulchan Aruch. And this is what the Shulchan Aruch was lenient. Because there's strange opinions. Lelech achar minhag, that he went after the minhag. Lahakel b'malacha achar shevdil b'tefila, or b'miril hamavdil lechud. To be lenient in malacha, so meaning to allow you to do malacha after you did havdalah in Shemna Esrei, or after by saying Baruch HaMavdil Bekodesh L'chol. That in itself is a leniency. The harbe Rishonim machmerim is because many Rishonim are machmer even in that. Like it's written in the Beit Yosef. Now you want to come listen to this, what the Shartim is telling us. The Shulchan Aruch right now is lenient, and now you want to come and you want to be more lenient. Look what he says. V'nakel od yuter, and now you want to go and you want to be more lenient than the Shulchan Aruch. The gam havdalah b'tefillah lo tzarich. That now you're telling me that even the havdalah and the tefillah you don't need. No, Rabotai, that we're not going to give you. That's the whole problem, Rabotai. Let me just see something 1 second. Shh. Because remember what just happened. The Taz one is going like the Yeshomrim that tell you if you didn't do Atachol Tanu because you're going to go down later. And you said you don't have to say Baruch HaMavdil Bekodesh L'chol because the malacha you're about to do, it has no exertion. I'm about to do Havdalah for my wife and the family. I could light a candle. I'm not doing nothing. Comes the Shartim says, I don't get it. The whole halakha, the whole halakha of the Shulchan Aruch, by saying Baruch HaMavdil Bekodesh L'chol, that in itself is a leniency. Now you want to come and you want to be more lenient than the Shulchan Aruch. Not to even say Atachol Tanu and not Baruch HaMavdil Bekodesh L'chol. Come on, that we're not going to be lenient. That's what he's telling us over here, Rabotai. V'nakel od yuter, and to be even more lenient. The gam Havdalah b'tefillah tzarich. Now also Havdalah you don't need in the Shemna Esrei. So no Baruch HaMavdil, no Atachol Tanu Shemna Esrei, and to go ahead and start doing malacha. No. That's why the Shartim says, do not rely on the Taz, do not rely on the Yeshomrim, like the Ramah himself paskins when it comes to malacha. If you didn't say Atachol Tanu Shemna Esrei, if you didn't say Baruch HaMavdil Bekodesh L'chol without Shemna Esrei, you shouldn't do any form of malacha. More than this, it makes sense. If you look into the text of Rabbeinu Yerucham itself, the gam hu lo hikel bezeh. He also wasn't lenient in this. When was Rabbeinu Yerucham lenient in lighting fire and everything else? That's only after you did Havdalah in the Shemona Esrei. V'gam az eina mutar ki im bahadlakat v'chodomeh v'lo b'shem malcha. Even Rabbeinu Yerucham is going to tell that even, and also then, you are only allowed to light the candle, anything similar where there's no exertion in the malacha. But to do real malacha, he would have never allowed you. Like that, Magen Avraham wrote on him. 1 second, Rabotai. Okay. I just heard my phone go tick tick. I thought the recording went off. Double check that. It happens sometimes. After 40 minutes of shiur, I come out, I see it's at a black screen. Okay, Rabotai. So that's that, Rabotai. So I just want to share with you this piece. You see clear from the Shartion, and this is what we left off in part 3, that it's not this halach of the Shulchan Aruch. Meikar, then you're right. Halach is speaking, if a person said Atachol Tanu, or if he says Baruch HaMavdil Ben Kodesh L'Chol, you're allowed to do any form of malacha. You should know this halacha where the Shulchan Aruch was leaning to go after the minhag, but lechadchila rabotai, meaning not according to Shulchan Aruch. You want to get other the Rishonim also inside. You want to do the mitzvah the best possible way. You shouldn't do any form of malacha until you do atachon otanu and Havdalah al kos shel yain. Again, that's up to you. That you can't tell other people to do that. I'm not asking right now to tell you that's halacha. No. If you're that type of person that's very particular, like always fulfilling all other opinions, even though the Shulchan Aruch says like this, and you want to try to do all the other opinions, fine, be my guest. But you can't tell other people to do it. So all I'm just sharing with you is like this. According to the Shulchan Aruch, by saying atachon otanu, or by saying Baruch HaMavdil Ben Kodesh L'Chol, in these two, you're allowed to do malacha. You want to be machmir on yourself, and you want to hold like the other Rishonim, not to do any work until you do Havdalah the Kos Shel Yain. Be my guest. Well, that's actually beautiful, Rabotai. Why not? What does it cost you anyway? What does it cost you? After Shabbat, you go home. You still not doing any work. Don't pick up your phone. I don't know. Do the Havdalah. Your mitzvah comes in your hand. Do the mitzvah right away. What are you pushing it off for? Why you have to do Havdalah 30 minutes later? Rabotai, listen. We have to try to be more zariz and mitzvot. Okay. Let's get back into the Mishnah Berurah. Now, Siv Katan Mem says, Ha'ikar kasvara rishonim. We saw on top in the Ramah, that we saw that in the part 3 already. Even though the Ramah brought the Yesh Omrim that told us that you don't need no atachon otanu in Shemona Esrei, meaning even if you still didn't daven, and even though you want to go head down and you want to do the Havdalah, don't worry about it. Don't say Baruch HaMavdil Ben Kodesh L'Chol, light the candle because there's no exertion. No. Comes the Ramah, the Ramah says, even the Ramah passes like that. But the main halacha is going to be like the first opinion, which is the Shulchan Aruch that said what? That you have to either go ahead and do atachon otanu in Shemona Esrei, or you have to go ahead and you have to do Baruch, or you have to say Baruch HaMavdil Ben Kodesh L'Chol. You want to do like all the Rishonim before you do any form of malacha, then go ahead and do Havdalah on the cup of wine. Okay, so the Mishnah Berurah says in Sikat and Mem, Ha'ikar Kesvar HaRishona, the main halacha is going to be like the first opinion. U'ba'al nefesh, a person who's concerned for his soul, Yaseh kimo shekatav b'darkei Moshe b'shem Or Zarua. He should do like it's written in the Darkei Moshe, in the name of the Or Zarua. V'chein ita b'zohar, Parsha Bamidbar. It's also brought down. It also says in the Zohar in Parsha Bamidbar, Shelo lahadlik ner ad achar seder kiddusha. One should not light a candle until after the seder of kiddusha, meaning after they say kadosh, 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 because now you already are after the Havdalah of the Shemona Esrei, where you did say already atachon otanu in Shemona Esrei. Aval chazan ha-Knesset, however, the shamash of the Beit Knesset, mutar lahadlik ner achar shivdil b'tefila. Again, he has to do Havdalah, but the chazan of the Knesset, he's allowed to go ahead. It's permissible to go ahead and light the candle after he did Havdalah in the Shemona Esrei by saying atachon otanu. Or Amar Baruch HaMavdil Ben Kodesh L'Chol, or he said Baruch HaMavdil Ben Kodesh L'Chol. Why? Mishum kavod hatzibur, because of the honor of the congregation. Sheyoshvim b'choshech, that they're sitting in darkness. Today you don't have it, but he's telling us over here, Rabotai, that everybody else, if they want to go ahead and light a candle, they can do it after the Seder de Kiddusha, after saying Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. But the Chazan of the Knesset, which is usually the Shamash, the attendant, not the Chazan like we have Chazanim today, that the Shalich Tzibur, no. Chazan over here means the attendant of the shul. He's allowed to go ahead and he's allowed to light the candle after he did Havdalah in the Shemona Esrei, or after he said Baruch HaMavdil Ben Kodesh L'Chol, because of the honor of the congregation that are sitting in darkness. But you see over here clearly, something has a certain form of Havdalah has to be done, either in Shemona Esrei, or either even outside the Shemona Esrei, but you have to say Baruch HaMavdil Ben Kodesh L'Chol. But to go like the Yesh Omrim, absolutely not. Now the Mishnah Berurah continues and he says, what about carrying a candle alone? V'tiltul haner shari l'kula alma. However, when it comes to carrying the candle, everybody's going to allow you to go ahead and carry a candle. Ulahavi yain biyom tov sheni achar shechashecha, and to bring wine on the second day of Yom Tov after the sun already set. Av shelo hitpalal adayin v'gam lo kiddush, even though you still didn't daven Shemona Esrei, and also you didn't do kiddush yet. Afilu hachishar, even in such a case, we're going to allow you to bring wine from another place for the second day of Yom Tov. Daha, why? You don't have over here a malacha. You're not doing any forbidden malacha. What you're only doing is you're preparing from one day to the next. Since the day already became sanctified, you're allowed to bring another bottle for the second day of Yom Tov. Let me just say this halacha outside. We know that a person is not allowed to prepare from one Yom Tov to the next. For example, let's say Yom Tov is Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday. Can a woman cook on Monday during the day for Monday night meal, meaning for the second day of Yom Tov, which is already Tuesday? Can a woman cook on Monday during the day for basically the second day of Yom Tov? Can a woman cook on the first day of Yom Tov to the second day of Yom Tov? It's asur. Why? Because that's hachana. You can't prepare from one Yom Tov to the next Yom Tov. That's why after you finish cooking for the first day of Yom Tov, whatever you had to do, you took care of. That's it. But now you can't go prepare setting up the table. If it's for the second day of Yom Tov, you can't do it. If you want to have another meal on the first day of Yom Tov, prepare the table as much as you want. Clean the dish as much as you want. But for the second day of Yom Tov, we're not going to allow you to do, because that's called hachara, that's called preparation. Over here is telling us that by bringing another bottle of wine for the second day of Yom Tov, that's not going to be a problem. Why isn't that going to be a problem? Because it's only a matter of preparation. And since the second day of Yom Tov already kicked in, it already became sanctified, you're already there. Yeah, you didn't do Havdalah, meaning you didn't do Atachon Otanu and Shomner Esrei, not Atachon Otanu. On Yom Tov it's Atato De'enu. You didn't do it. You also didn't do Kiddush, because in the Kiddush you also have Havdalah. You're right, you didn't do it there, you didn't do it there. It doesn't matter. Since it's not a full-fledged malacha, it's only a chachana. It's only from preparing from one day to the next, and the second day already kicked in, it's already sanctified, it's already holy. We're going to allow you to go ahead and bring another bottle for the second day of Yom Tov. The Mishnah Berurah concludes and he says, Maharil hayam mikapel hatalit shelo b'chol motzei Shabbat kedei lit'asek b'mitzvah miyad. The Maharil, he would fold his tallit every motzei Shabbat, every Saturday night, right after davening, kedei lit'asek b'mitzvah miyad, in order to occupy himself in the mitzvah immediately. So you see, Rabotai, look at the Maharil. First thing when Shabbat came out, he went and he did the first thing which is what? Before you leave the shul, you have your tallit, which you didn't fold. Some people say you're allowed to fold, some don't. Rabotai, I'm not going to get into it because I don't like doing halachot in the air. I like to do everything inside. I personally, Rabotai, do not fold my tallit. Rabotai, but you see now why, but I don't fold my tallit for different reasons. But other people, they do fold it, it's not a problem. In any event, Rabotai, we see from over here that Maharil would go ahead and he would fold his tallit immediately after Shabbat was out in order to occupy himself in the mitzvah. Rabotai, again, congratulations. Very, very big accomplishment. You have completed the whole Siman Reish Tzadik Tes.